Expecting a baby is something that happens more in September than any other month. In addition to assembling the crib and ensuring you have enough bottles on hand, you should also anticipate a few financial considerations.
And boy, there are a few of them to consider. We are joined by certified financial planner Will Rogers to talk about how to prepare for a baby coming into the world. Will, welcome.
Good to be here, and for me, this has been fun to watch as a grandparent, seeing my kids, bring their daughters into the world and the costs that are there, and yeah, it made it real because it's been 30 some years since I had babies of our own that we were raising.
Oh, I love that. Well, what are the main areas new parents can prepare for?
When we look at it, I look at childcare costs, and then just the lifestyle you're going to have. There's education and college costs, your own finances, and then teaching your child about money.
All right, so one of the big expenses that mom and dad are thinking of first is childcare, of course. What should they expect as that child is getting into that area so they can get back to work?
And this is something that is ballooning. I feel embarrassed because my numbers are a little out of date. In 2022 was about $11,000 a year. I know that has jumped up, and in 2025 it has jumped up even more because there's been this shrinking of the workforce. So you should be expecting close to $1,500 a month for childcare, or roughly 10% of the average married couple's yearly income. But it's usually a third of a single parent's income. So this is a huge chunk out of the budget if you're a single parent.
Absolutely. What other costs are going to hit right away?
Oh man, the things keep coming because you got diapers, formula, clothes. Those other necessities can be expensive, and it goes up. But then you've got the extracurriculars. We took our daughter Gemma to the Finzi Swamp for a camp this summer. Well, okay, that costs some money, and there's so many things, be it sports, music, performing arts. If you got extra mouths to feed, you probably need extra bedrooms. And so our kids are looking at getting a bigger house right now. That's a real challenge with high interest rates today. They've figured it out, but it's a lot more difficult for them getting that extra house than it was for my generation when we were getting the house. And then, kind of simple thing, but it's a bigger car. When you're carrying the kids around, it might be the SUV, might be the minivan, but the little two-seater sports car isn't going to do it, and sometimes a little four-seater is not going to do it.
You're bringing all of this stuff back into my head now from when Allie was born, and we had to do all of that stuff. Well, then we get to the college age. The kids have grown up. They're heading off from high school and possibly going into college. When should you start preparing for that?
You probably should start saving for your child's college while you're in college yourself.
Okay.
Just kidding, but not kidding. And the sooner you can start, the easier it will be. And I really don't like to think of it as a college fund. Think of it as an independence fund, because it might be vocational training. It might be money to get them set up for small business. As you look at the tax benefits in 529 plans or the new starter IRA or Roth IRA, the 529 plan has been expanded. So many folks thought it was just for college, but if you want to get a trade certificate, you can now use 529 plans for trades and skills. So that independence fund might not be college, but I do believe after high school, most everybody's going to need some education in a career field for them to really have a profession.
For sure. What about your own finances here?
The biggest one is just keep in mind, unexpected events can affect your family's finances at any time. We were talking about this last week with the how to deal with high inflation and jobs. You want to have that emergency fund. I keep saying this is my go-to. You want to have 3 to 6 months of expenses, because now not only do you have yourself that you're supporting, but you've got a young mouth that if you lose your job, if you get sick, if they get sick, that pile of cash can pay for those medical bills, can take care of a lot of stuff. While doing that, don't forget about your own retirement savings. As you're coming into the stretch and you're going, well, wait a minute, I spent that extra money on a binky and a onesie and these outfits. Nah, that should have gone into your IRA or 401k. And make sure you update your estate plan and insurance coverage so that if you're not able to provide for your child because of death or disability, somebody legally can do it that you've picked, and they've got the funding and resources to take care of.
Okay, so this next question, something that I've had to do in the last couple of years too, teaching our kids about how to use and save money. And I'm learning things as I teach them at the same time too. So what should you plan on teaching your kid about money?
Everything. You're going to be the child's primary educator. And whether you teach them good habits or bad habits, you are the teacher of the day. And I would be very conscientious of this. And I encourage folks to be as transparent as possible, age appropriate. But if your kid's in school, yes, kindergarten is school. If your kid's in school, you can have some talks about money. Simple things, needs versus wants, budgeting and saving. And as they're wanting this or wanting that, have them save a little bit of allowance or Christmas and gift money or whatever. So then when they do want something, they've got the resources to get it. And be especially careful to not build in the habit that it's so much of it's because you just go online, click and buy something. It's not saving up for it. But if the kids don't connect budget versus wanting things, they can get in the habit of just whatever they want, they get. And then when they have to pay for it, they're not used to having to come up with resources to pay for something.
All right. It's definitely a question of supply and demand when it comes to that, too. All right. If you're having a baby on the way, these are great tips that you need to keep in mind. And always, Will Rogers, thank you for joining us. Great to see you again.
Hey, great to see you guys. Always happy to share our wisdom on wealth. Go have fun with those kids.